Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Echak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops, a great millstone. I'm your brother, Rabbi Knapp, coming out with a lesson, Lord's will. This is edifying to the Lord's elect. Found this online on first post. It says, Air Canada suspends Cuba flights amid looming jet fuel shortage. That's February 10th. How is it February 10th? I'm doing this video on February 9th, but it's saying it's February 10th. Maybe I don't know how that's possible. Maybe it's a first post is on the other side of the world, I guess. Anyways, Canada suspends flights to Cuba after Havana warns airlines it will run out of jet fuel, triggering cancellations, emergency repatriation plans, and fresh concerns for the island's tourism-dependent economy. So, that's if he can't get any fuel, they're going to run out of fuel. And, it sounds like they really putting pressure on them. So, and that's a tactic of besieging a country. Canada has responded to Cuba's deepening jet fuel crisis, with Air Canada suspending flights to the island after being warned that fuel supplies are about to run out. So you can't, you go fly over there and you can't even refuel to get the hell up out of there. The airline said it would cancel services to Cuba and operate empty planes to bring home roughly 3,000 passengers already on the island, after Cuban authorities alerted carriers that aviation fuel would soon be unavailable at major airports, reported routers. So, hey man, Cuba, I wouldn't be surprised he start going in there, man. Because without that's just jet fuel, but that also stops. You need cargo to fly into the Cuba, so if they're suspending flights, and he's not allowing any ships and stuff to go over there, man, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, man. I wonder how what's going to work. I don't know what's going to happen over there, but I know they were saying that their supplies were going low, and this is stuff that I had to look for this, man. Watching the news, they still talking about Guthrie's 84-year-old mother. Like this is why no one watches the news. I went said, what's going on in Cuba? What's going on in this place? You got to be like super specific. Before you could just look at the news. Unless it's somebody getting shot in their neck, that's the only, then he'll start talking about that. And he ain't talking about nothing. This is a huge issue over here. Other international airlines are now scrambling to adjust schedules, refuel in third countries, or rethink operations altogether. Cuba informed airlines it expects to run out of jet fuel this week, with shortages likely to last until at least mid-March. 9 airports, including Havana's Jose Marti International Airport, are expected to be affected. So, the people are going to be affected by that too. And the people that are there, I mean, I don't. If you don't get on one of those flights, he's probably going to attack that place, man. You don't want to be there if you got American passport. You shouldn't even be doing anywhere traveling and shit. You worried about tourists, you want to go to Cuba? That shit's done, man. You go there now, the people over there might kill your ass. Israel warns Duck, we may act alone if Iran crosses ballistic missile red line. So he can't control this. He can't control Israel, man. If he goes and attacks Iran, that's going to draw America into a battle that they don't want to be in. We told the Americans we will strike alone if Iran crosses the red line we set on ballistic missiles. Now it's ballistic missiles. Iran was just talking about diluting their nuclear. Iran dilutes nukes. Let's say that. Let me see if I can find some news. 3 hours ago, Americans warned to leave Iran now as nuke talks begin. Iran will dilute its enriched uranium if U.S. lifts all sanctions, says Tehran nuke chief. Let's look into this real quick. So he's trying to appease to them. They ain't getting rid of it. But now it's the ballistic missile. So, he's always changing the goalposts. Ultimately it's the Lord, because according to Proverbs 21:1, he's the one that's allowing all these things. He's putting the thoughts in the minds of these kings. He's maneuvering them, changing the goalposts. The Lord wants war. He wants you to act on your own. Proverbs 21:1, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So he's turning their minds. If you can turn something that's in your hand, you have control over it. Just like you turn a steering wheel to go left, or, you put your blinker on, you take a left or something. That's what the Lord's doing. He's controlling these kings. Okay, your modern day kings are your presidents and things like that. Lord's in control of these things. So this is how he speaks. Ultimately through his prophets, but through him, his prophecies are speaking right now. Let me grab this Proverbs 21:1. Just want to see what this Bible Hub says about it. The king's heart is a waterway in the hand of the Lord. That's probably a different translation. This phrase emphasizes the sovereignty of God over human rulers. In ancient Near Eastern culture, kings were seen as the ultimate authority, often believed to be divinely appointed. However, this proverb asserts that even the most powerful human leaders are subject to God's will. The imagery of a waterway suggests control and guidance, as waterways were essential for agriculture and life in ancient Israel, often requiring careful management. This reflects the biblical theme that God can guide and influence the decisions of rulers, as seen as the stories of Pharaoh in Exodus and King Cyrus in Isaiah 45:1-4, where God uses foreign kings to fulfill his purposes. And it's just like Pharaoh. So Pharaoh, his purpose, he didn't even want to come up against Israel. So the Lord put it on Pharaoh. He says he hardeneth his heart to come up against the nation of Israel so he can destroy him and deliver the nation of Israel out of Egypt. And just like King Cyrus, he used him to, even though he was a heathen king, the Lord used him to help Israel out, to help get it started with building the second temple. Okay, he directs it where he pleases, talking about the waterway, just like the king's heart, which is his mind. This part of the verse highlights God's ultimate authority and purpose. The direction of the king's heart is not random, but intentional, aligning with God's divine plan. So if he wants Israel, and that matches up with Jeremiah 49:20, I'm gonna go there too. But it shows you that, all these things that happen in the world, it's not random acts. It's the Lord having his will be fulfilled. Okay, the phrase also suggests a sense of divine providence, where God's plans are fulfilled regardless of human intentions. This word providence, I think it goes into foresight. Let me look this up real quick. Providence. Yeah, providence. The protective care of God or of nature as a spiritual power. Okay, destiny, fate, or some foresight, timely preparation for future eventualities. So a little bit of prudence, forethought, farsightedness, judgment. So where God's plans are fulfilled regardless of human intentions, as illustrated in the story of Joseph in Genesis 50:20. So yeah, regardless of human intentions, they might think, okay, I'm gonna attack Iran. They're sitting up in their military room, and we're going to attack them before they get strong enough to really do some damage to us. We might as well take them out now. But in all actuality, the Lord, they don't really know the extent of how powerful Iran is. Okay, so this is the worst time to do it. You think, okay, they haven't enriched their uranium yet. There's talks about them diluting it. This is the perfect time to attack. They said they'll dilute it. But now I'm moving a goalpost so I can look good on paper to the rest of the world. But you're moving too fast. You're sloppy. We know you want to attack. You'll make any excuse to do it. You're going to do it anyways. You don't need shit. Just do it. The fuck? Stop talking about it, man. Just do it. Nah, man, no. I gotta find I want to, show some moral code, but you ain't got no morals. Okay, you ain't got no morals. Ain't nobody gonna be surprised if Ron does. I mean, if Israel does that, ain't nobody gonna be surprised. I ain't gonna be surprised. Plus, it matches up with prophecy. You have to do it. Let me look this up in Genesis 50 and 20. See the precept he's giving me. But as for you, ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good to bring to pass as it is this day, to save much people alive. So Joseph is describing to his brothers, you were jealous of me, you threw me into a pit, you sold me off to some Ishmaelite. He brought me into Egypt. And the Lord did all of these things to exalt me so I can save your ass at the end. So you did it for my evil, but the Lord did it for our good. Now therefore fear ye not, I will nourish you and your little ones. And he comforted them and spake kindly unto them. And look at that. It all worked out for the better of Israel. And just like these things that are happening in the world, this reflects the belief that God's purposes are ultimately for the good of his people and the fulfillment of his promises, pointing to the ultimate sovereignty of God over all creation. Is right. Okay. So it gives a cross-reference of Romans 13:1. It says, everyone must submit himself to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which is from God. The authorities that exist have been appointed by God. Right. But let me read a little bit of this. Show full article. I just want to read the pretty much the basis. Amid the diplomatic tensions with the U.S., Iran has hinted it may dilute its stockpile of highly enriched uranium to 60% if America lifts all sanctions on Tehran. Iran's atomic chief, Mohammad Islami, said on Monday, February 09. And you think that's a good start, especially after this nigga done bombed your nuclear sites. All right, hey, when we go to the diluting of that, but it's not gonna. There's no negotiating. They're not going to come to an agreement. Prophecy is going to be fulfilled. And that's it. In conclusion, in response to a question about the possibility of diluting 60% enriched uranium, the head of the Atomic Energy Organization said that this depends on whether all sanctions will be lifted in return, the official IRNA news agency reported. So they're not stupid. Yeah, we'll start diluting it, and they're not going to go fast either. They're going to keep it at 60. Okay? But they're keeping as long as they can keep Esau talking, hey, they can buy more time. They're probably enriching even faster. That's while you got them talking, you might as well hurry up and get to the meat and potatoes. You know that Israel's gonna attack you. Everyone knows it. The Lord's rushing him. That's why it's so sloppy. What does diluting uranium mean? Diluting uranium simply means mixing it with a water blend to reduce the enrichment level. That's good. Whatever. We know what dilution is. Israel wants duck. We may act alone if Iran crosses ballistic missile red line. So let's go to Jeremiah. I know they're not going to break it down right, but I want to see what they say anyways. Jeremiah 49. They might update it. Who knows? Who knows? They might say, GMS actually had it right. We were wrong. I doubt that, but let's see what it says. Jeremiah 49:20. Should I read it first? Let me read it in the KJV because they might give it in a different translation. It says, therefore hear the counsel of the Lord that he have taken against Edom and his purposes, that he have purpose against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. So the least of the flock, point of this precept is the least of the flock are these Israeli small hats who are going to draw them out, okay? Talking about the Babylonian Americans, okay? He's going to draw them out. And this is what the Lord, Yahweh, has taken against Edom. So this is prophecy. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them, because he's going to destroy Israel and America. So they're going to lose this battle. The only difference between Israel and America, according to prophecy, Babylon's going to be that example for all generations of how the ungodly, out of the recompense of being ungodly. But Israel, that's going to be rebuilt. But there's going to be a new tenant, which is the original tenants, which are the real Israelites. Okay. Let me jump down. It says, therefore hear the plans that the Lord has drawn up against Edom. Edom, a nation descended from Esau, Jacob's brother, often found itself in conflict with Israel. The phrase indicates divine judgment, emphasizing God's sovereignty and justice. Edom's pride and hostility towards Israel are key reasons for this judgment, as seen in Obadiah 3 and 4, verses 3 and 4. The plans of the Lord reflect his omniscience and authority over nations, fulfilling prophecy like those in Isaiah 34, 5 and 6. So whoever scholar brought this together, he's using the right precepts. And I'm gonna grab it. Obadiah 1, there's only one chapter, verses 3 and 4. It says, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. So that's what Esau is mostly known for his pride. Okay, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, because he's a caveman, he's a Caucasian man, okay, cave dweller, okay, whose habitation is high. He's on high right now, because the Lord put him up there. That saith in his heart, which is his mind, who shall bring me down to the ground? Who's gonna bring me down? Okay, who got the power to stop me? Okay, so that's his pride. His pride goes into his military capability. Okay, all of these things is what he's, it's AI, tech, Palantir, all this shit. He think nobody can take him down. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle flies very high, looks down, and that's why his technology got him flying high, man. He's above everybody. He can zoom in with his technology. He can see he can see everything. Okay. And though thou set thy nest among the stars, meaning out of space, you got these space stations and things like that, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. So the Lord said he's gonna be the reason you get brought down. Okay? And it's gonna start with these heathen nations, but it's gonna end with Yahweh Shai when he returns. And then it gave another precept for Isaiah 34. So he understands, Obadiah, it says it right there, Edom will be humbled. As proud as he is, he's going to be humbled. Okay, Isaiah 34, 5 and 6. And these are precepts that are written in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary that tell you about the judgment of Esau, Edom. So that's another Edomite. Zondervan is an Edomite who understands that, Esau understands that too. I mean, there's no way you can't deny it. He's here to deceive you. Okay? So if you proud, you've been deceived. The duck, he don't know what the hell's going on. Because if you really understood the Lord, you would humble yourself all the way down. Okay, you have to be deceived to think that you're the Most High. It tells you in the book of Job 12 verse 16 that the deceived and the deceiver are his. Isaiah 34 and 5, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. The sword is talking about this thermonuclear destruction. It's the thermonuclear missiles that are coming to hit Babylon. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, which Idumea means the Greek word of Edom, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. The people of his curse are you Edomites. Okay, you're a cursed people. You a cursed. Your curse is being destroyed by the Lord. For being a fugitive and a vagabond all your life. Okay? All these things all this murder and shit you stole, and all the kid killings and human meat you eat and blood drinking and all, your whole nation gonna be destroyed because of it. Okay, to judgment. So you were created for the day of evil, according to Proverbs 16 and 4. Isaiah 34 and 6, the sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of kidneys of rams. For the Lord have a sacrifice in Basra and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. So that's talking about here. Okay, and the rams and the goats are these different nations of people. Okay, you're likened unto beasts. Esau is more so like a goat because, Alexander the Greek was referred to as a goat in Daniel the 8th chapter. The rams, just different, even though it's just talking about all the different nations, land, different beasts and shit like that. But, I'm just showing that the Lord likens nations under different beasts. Okay? Only the nation of Israel is considered like a son, But you other nations, he refers you to like, especially the goat. That was Alexander. He was also likened unto a leopard. The Iranians or the Persians were likened unto a ram. And the Russians were likened unto, it had two horns. One was more exalted than the other. But that's the way he depict you in the vision that he gave to Daniel as beast. For the Lord have a sacrifice in Basra. And Basra's the, let's look up Basra. I know Basra means sheepfold, but I don't know if it's the capital city of Edom or one of them. Let me just see it real quick. Sheepfold or fortress, a town in Edom or a town in Moab, but so it's a town, not a capital. But it means sheepfold or fortress. Okay. And it's pretty much talking about America in a great slaughter in the land of Idumea, and that's going to come via the thermonuclear missiles. So he's referring to these two precepts in the study Bible. These are good precepts. So whoever did that, he knows something. He got that right. And the strategies he has devised against the people of Teman. Teman, a region in Edom, was known for its wise men. Job 2:11. Let's go there. In the modern day, the smartest out of the nation of Edom are the Temanites, and the Temanites, known for their wise men, we believe is to be the Germans. They're the ones who created the thermonuclear missiles. Let me grab this in Isaiah 54. 6. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy. So he created the scientists, or the German scientists that created like Oppenheimer. Okay, I think Oppenheimer literally said he was, let me see if that's true. Oppenheimer said he was the destroyer of worlds. That's what he said, not a waster, but that's what J. Robert Oppenheimer famously quoted the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita, now I become deaf, the destroyer of worlds, reflecting on the first atomic bomb test in 1945. He recalled this line to express the immense, world-altering and destructive power of the nuclear weapon he created. So that's who the Lord created. Okay, the Lord is the Father of spirits. Let's grab that. The Lord is the Father of spirits, KJV. I think it's in Hebrews. Yeah, Hebrews 12, verse 9. Furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh, which corrected us, and we gave them reverence. Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live? So he created that spirit. Okay, just like it tells you in Ecclesiastes 39. Let me grab it real quick since it's on my mind. So he has certain spirits that he created to create certain things like this. Ecclesiastes 39 and 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. So who made them? Okay, the Lord. Okay. So he creates these spirits to do exactly and what did he do with that spirit? Did he just create it to create a bomb and just didn't do anything with it? Or did he use it on Hiroshima and Nagasaki? So he showed you that he ain't making these spirits in vain. And he's also going to show you in these last days that all those missiles weren't created in vain. Isaiah 45 and 6. That they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none beside me. I am the Lord, and there is none else. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. So he's creating spirits. He's creating them to create missiles, to destroy things. He's putting spirits on people to do things that are contrary to their own well-being. So the Lord's working. All right. Where am I? Oh, I wanted to go to Job 2:11, showing you that the wise men are teeming. Now, when Job's 3 friends heard of all this evil that was come upon him, and who was putting that evil upon him, the Lord was using Satan to do that. They came everyone from his own place, Eliphaz the Temanite, and Bildad the Shunite, and Zophar the Naamathite, for they had made an appointment together. So Eliphaz the Temanite, okay? Crazy part is that Eliphaz is the name of Esau's son. Okay, and Zophar the Naamathite, for they had made an appointment together to come to mourn with him and to comfort him. Okay, let's go to Eliphaz in Genesis 36 chapter. I'm not saying that that's Esau's brother, because some of the names are interconnected, because like Enoch. Cain had a son named Enoch, and he was wicked, but that's not the Enoch that was translated because the Lord loved him, so that doesn't mean he's an Edomite. But I'm gonna bring it out anyways. Genesis 36:10. These are the names of Esau's sons: Eliphaz the son of Adah, the wife of Esau. Okay, so Eliphaz the son of Adah, and Eliphaz right here. Where is it? Genesis 36:12. It says, and I'll just keep reading it. Ruel the son of Bashemath, the wife of Esau, and the sons of Eliphaz were Teman, so that's where the Temanites come from. Okay, Omar, Zepho, and Gatam, and Kenaz, and Timnah was concubine of Eliphaz, Esau's son, and she bare to Eliphaz Amalek. These were the sons of Adah, Esau's wife. So, Amalek, Teman, they don't really talk about Omar, Zepho, and Gatam, and Kenaz. But, Amalek is definitely really hated by the Lord. He hates this nigga a lot. That's the top tribe that the Lord is against. Just like Esau, his top tribe is against the nation of Judah. The Israelites is the top nation, man. That's why the so-called African American man, he got all the jokes for him. Everything is to downgrade the importance and the significance of the Judah, the head tribe. Okay, he wants to bring them as low as possible, make them look like they're just a disgrace, but yet he won't be like them. Ain't nothing better than that. He could have chose any nation to be like. He won't be like us. Okay, he wants the land. He wants to expand his borders. That's what's going on in Israel right now. Okay, not just the ballistic stuff, but expanding their borders. Okay, Israel annexation of Gaza. Let's see what pops up. News. 3 hours ago, U.S. stresses opposition to annexation after Israeli steps to expand West Bank grip. So they're trying to kind of expand their territory. They're not doing it in these other lands. He wants to take over everything. Okay, there's still some loose ends he wants to clean up, but the Lord's using those loose ends to destroy his ass. Okay, and that's where we're this is the times that we're living in prophecy. So, Teman, a region in Edom, was known for its wise men. The mention of strategies highlights God's deliberate and purposeful actions. This reflects the biblical theme that human wisdom cannot stand against divine wisdom. 1 Corinthians 1:19-20. The judgment on Teman underscores the futility of relying on human strength and wisdom. So he's devised against them. Okay, when you read it in Jeremiah 49:20, since that's his wise men, the Lord said that he had purpose against the inhabitants of Teman. So your wise men, he's coming up against them. They don't have the strategic, they don't know how to handle everything that's going on. They might have the capability, but they don't really want war with Iran. So Duck is probably sitting down. All right, you willing to dilute your nukes? Oh, this is good news. Let me go tell Nadaju and see what he says. And then Nadaju tells him, I'll go in there by myself. I don't need you. Okay? So now Esau, he in the middle of all this shit, man. He got his grandson on this side, just being a badass little boy. He can't. But Esau don't know how to take. He ain't coming from a well-ordered house. You would think your grandson ain't supposed to tell you what the hell you gonna do. You tell your grandson what he's supposed to do. You supposed to be Eliphaz. You the father, man. Your grandson telling your kid telling you what the fuck he gonna do, man. Okay, and that's what's going on in the house of these Edomites. 1 Corinthians 1 verse 19. No order. All right. That's why he needs his ass kicked. And I believe he should get his ass kicked. 1 Corinthians 1 verse 18. For the preaching of the cross is to them that perish foolishness, but unto us which are saved it is the power of God. For it is written, I will destroy the wisdom of the wise. So that's the wise men, the team, and he's destroying their wisdom. Okay? He don't know how to operate in this time. He want to please his grandson, but he want to be and help out the heathen at the same time. But it's not going to work, and will bring to nothing the understanding of the prudence. So everything he's devised, he's gonna bring all this shit to nothing. It tells you in Malachi, the 1st chapter, they shall build, but I will throw down. Okay, it starts with that wisdom though. It's worse. It tells you in Ecclesiastes, the 9th chapter, that wisdom is better than weapons of war. Let me grab that real quick. So if he's destroying your wisdom, man, that's the worst thing you want to lose is your damn mind, man. Ecclesiastes 9 and it's towards the end, maybe 18 or something like that. Yeah. Ecclesiastes 9 and 18. Wisdom is better than weapons of war, but one sinner destroyeth much good. So if wisdom is better than weapons of war, he's destroying your wisdom. Okay, so those weapons are meaningless if your wisdom's destroyed. You can lose a battle and have everything you need to win it if you lose your wisdom. What's the point of having a gun if you forgot how to use it? You don't know, you're not using it right. You forgot how to aim or something, So you need wisdom. Wisdom is better than weapons of war, because wisdom, first of all, wisdom prevents you from even getting into a situation that can destroy you. Applying wisdom, it makes you avoid all fights. You don't even have to you already win the battle. Wisdom will prevent all of that battle and going to war and shit like that. Okay? I mean, if you have to war, you're going to war. But wisdom pretty much keeps you away from all of that. Okay? So operating in wisdom is important. But he don't have that. He don't have wisdom. That's keeping him from, preventing him from shit that is going to destroy him. He don't know. He know the Russians got better capability than him. But he still think he can play businessman on a battleground. It ain't going to work. Okay? It says, where's the wise, where's the scribe, where's the disputer of this world? Have not God made foolish the wisdom of this world? So that's what you're starting to see. Okay, where's the wise? Let's look at this word. Wise. Sophos. The skilled expert of artificers. Yeah, where's the wise at, man? Where's your skilled expert of artificers? People who develop weapons and things like that. He might think it's the AI. He gonna build up these data centers and y'all gonna power them. He gonna make you use, he gonna make you pay for the AI to go fight this war, and it's not gonna be, you're gonna have all this money, like you spend way more money on your nuclear capability and your military might, and none of that shit's gonna work. All of it is it's all vanity, because ultimately the Lord's gonna they're gonna destroy you, man. Okay, they're just gonna destroy you. Where is the scribe? Let's look at this word, scribe. Grammatius. It says in the Bible, a man learned in the Mosaic law and sacred writings, an interpreter, teacher. Okay, scribes examined the more difficult and subtle questions of the law, added to the Mosaic law decisions of various kinds, thought to elucidate its meaning and scope, and did this to the detriment of religion. Since the advice of men skilled in the law was needed in the examination in the causes and the solution of the difficult questions, they were enrolled in the Sanhedrin and are mentioned in connection with the priests and elders of the people. See a Bible dictionary for more information on the scribes. So pretty much, where's your priest at, man? That are well versed in the law. You don't have that. Ain't nobody implementing the law down here. So who can come up against God's word is what Paul's pretty much asking. Who can come up and debate against the prophecies of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai and say that the Lord ain't tell you this from the beginning? Where they at? Okay, a religious teacher so instructed that from his learning and ability to teach advantage may redound to the kingdom of heaven. I keep forgetting what this word redound means. Contribute greatly to, come back upon, redound, so contribute greatly to the kingdom of heaven. Okay, he don't have any religious teachers that can do that. Rabbi Shrinkenstring ain't got no fucking knowledge, man. He's a heathen. You trusting in somebody that does oral circumcision, so your country gonna be destroyed. A clerk, scribe, especially a public servant, secretary, recorder, whose office and influence differed in different states. So it's pretty much talking about your religious leaders, man, that can come up against the knowledge of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Where they at? Where is the disputer of this world? So where is the disputer? Let's look at this word, disputer. I don't know. Let him do this.
Strong's G 4804. Sudzete Tace.
Yeah, you heard what he said. A disputer, a learned disputant, sophist. What the hell is a sophist? A paid teacher of philosophy and rhetoric in ancient Greece, associated in popular thought with moral skepticism and specious reasoning. What's specious mean? Specious, superficially plausible, but actually wrong. Yeah. Yeah, so where's the disputer of this world, man? Okay, someone that can pretty much come up against this word. Have not God made foolish the wisdom of this world? And that's what he's gonna show you. He's gonna show you all that shit that you talking, all these different books, all these different religions you created. Can't know nothing come up against the prophecies. You're gonna learn who the prophets are. And he's gonna show you that your wisdom is foolish when you do everything he told you were gonna do before it even happened. The judgment on Teman underscores the futility of relying on human strength and wisdom, and that's what he relies on. Surely the little ones of the flock will be dragged away. The little ones of the flock symbolizes the vulnerable and defenseless, possibly referring to the people of Edom. This imagery is used to convey the totality of coming judgment where even the weakest will not escape. It echoes the shepherd imagery found in Ezekiel 34, where God judges false shepherds and rescues his flock. Now he's going off. So he don't know. Or maybe he does know, he don't want you to know. Ezekiel 34. Let's go there and see what it's talking about. Ezekiel 34. It didn't give a verse. Prophecy against the shepherds of Israel. I'm just going to read that part. Ezekiel 34:1. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy against the shepherds of Israel. Prophesy and say unto them, Thus saith the Lord God unto the shepherds, Woe be to the shepherds of Israel that do feed themselves. Should not the shepherds feed the flocks? Ye eat the fat, and ye clothe you with the wool. Ye kill them that are fed, but ye feed not the flock. The diseased have ye not strengthened, neither have ye healed that which was sick, neither have ye bound up that which was broken. Neither have ye brought again that which was driven away, neither have ye sought that which was lost, but with force and with cruelty have ye ruled them. Now, this is talking about different shepherds, which would be your pastors. You know, they led you astray. But this is not what Jeremiah 49:20 is talking about. And they were scattered because there is no shepherd, and they became meat to all the beasts of the field when they were scattered. My sheep wandered through all the mountains, and upon every high hill. Yea, my flock was scattered upon all the face of the earth, and none did search or seek after them. And so he's saying the least of the flock. We're talking about these shepherds. Okay. Therefore, ye shepherds, hear the word of the Lord. As I live, saith the Lord God, surely because my flock became a prey, and my flock became meat to every beast of the field, because there was no shepherd, neither did my shepherds search for my flock, but the shepherds fed themselves and fed not my flock. Therefore, O ye shepherds, hear the word of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord God, behold, I am against the shepherds, and I will require my flock at their hand, and cause them to cease from feeding the flock. Neither shall the shepherds feed themselves any more, for I will deliver my flock from their mouth, that they may not be meat for them. So that's ultimately talking about your pastors. Okay, that has nothing to do with surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. So the least of the flock are those Israelite Jewish small hats. Okay, they're the least of the flock because they're a small nation, man. They're not a lot of them. All right. And compared to, when you look at them on a map in that area, it's not that there's a lot of them, but compared to, they're in a small part. They got that little section, and every other nation around them, is these different Muslims. So that small little country is going to draw in this big ass country, the United States, into war. And they're going to be desolate with them because they're going to be destroyed by those Israeli Muslims, Islamic Muslims. And because you really can't support a foreign land invasion, man. You saw that with Iraq. You can't do it, man. And that's one thing Esau sucks is they don't know foreign policy. They're too stupid. Okay, they're just a dumb people, man. They're just really dumb, and that's what the Lord is showing you in these last days. Like on the highest, they're stupid on the highest level. Okay, real base men. Certainly, their pasture will be made desolate because of them. See, now it's going off. The desolation of the pasture signifies complete devastation and ruin in an agrarian society. Pastures were vital for survival. So their destruction indicates severe judgment. This desolation is a consequence of Edom's actions and attitudes, aligning with the principle of sowing and reaping found in Galatians 6, 7, and 8. Well, that's right. You're definitely going to reap what you sow. The imagery also points to the ultimate restoration and renewal promised in passages like Isaiah 35, where desolate lands will rejoice and blossom. Let me read that in Isaiah 35. But it's basically saying, surely he gonna make your land desolate with them. And I don't even know what translation they're using. They're just going off Isaiah 35:1. The wilderness and the solitary place shall be glad for them. And the desert shall rejoice and blossom as the rose. It shall blossom abundantly and rejoice even with joy and singing. The glory of Lebanon shall be given unto it, the excellency of Carmel and Sharon. They shall see the glory of the Lord and the excellency of our God. They're going to be destroyed, man, just like Israel. But America's not going to be rebuilt. All right, so them going to war alone, if Iran crosses ballistic missile red line, so they keep changing the posts, but it's ultimately escalating. Nukes without limits, a new era after the end of New Start. New Start expired on February 5th, so Russia and America just entered a nuclear deal, or a nuclear treaty, and I want to see. They're not really talking about it, but so I don't know what this means for the different. I don't know what it means, so I'm trying to look into it. Russia cooperation to reduce each country's nuclear weapons on alert. 4 arms control experts provide insight on whether the end of the treaty could trigger an arms race or risk other miscalculations. Ooh, let's see what it says. The last remaining treaty between the United States and Russia limiting nuclear weapons expired on February 5th, 2026. It marks the end of an era of arms control and limits on both the size and status of U.S. and Russian nuclear weapons, which the treaty capped at 1,550 deployed strategic systems each. So, deployed strategic systems each. So, hey, that's going to increase, man. Probably more weapon production is going to increase, because it tells you in the book of, what does it say? 200,000 KJV, Revelation 9 verse 16. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them. So that's talking about all the thermonuclear missiles. Okay. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them having breastplates of fire and of jacinth and brimstone, and the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. So what he's describing is, when you look at the front of a nuclear missile, you see the fire behind it. That's like a lion's mane. You know, it kind of looks like a lion's face. So John the Revelator got to see that missile up close from a directly in front of him. Okay, and he was describing it the best he could. Let me see if they have a picture of this. Images. Let me see what pops up. Nothing good. Nope. I don't see anything. Let's see, missiles with lion's face. There was a nice sign somebody had. I don't even know how to describe it, because you can, lion's face with fire behind it. We're getting closer. We're getting closer. We're getting closer. But it kind of looks like a lion's. I can't find it. They don't want to show it. Shit. Let me see. Revelation 9, verse 17. It's definitely a poster you can. I've seen brothers use it all the time. It was a beautiful picture that shows it perfectly. Let me see. Can you show a missile from the front view? No? Okay. Or how about images of a nuclear missile from the front view? With fire. I'm kind of dumb when it comes to getting, but if you can imagine something like this from the front, okay, that's what I'm trying to get. Front view with fire behind it. I can't find it. I'm trying to get. I don't know how to ask what I'm looking for, kind of like slow for some reason. Maybe not a front view, but that's what it looks like if you look at it. Or a direct view. Let's see. Direct view. No, not a direct. I don't know the word I'm looking for that describes the angle. It's something like this, but it's not giving me exactly what I'm looking for, but that's what it's talking about. I just can't find an image. Okay, that's done. Nukes. It says, however, reports that the two superpowers have agreed to keep talking and to develop a follow-on agreement bring optimism. It will take hard, detailed work, but the United States and Russia could find ways to maintain some degree of predictability. Yet even if a mutually beneficial political agreement can be reached, both Washington and Moscow seem poised to deploy more nuclear weapons, risking an arms race. So that's if an arms race, man. More missiles, man. More missiles. This is good news. I mean, it's bad news for you, but this is good news for the nation of Israel, the true Israelites, okay? Those of us who descend from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, this is great news. You should be able to sleep well tonight knowing that the Lord is making prophecy be fulfilled. At their best, arms control agreements provide predictability and help the parties involved avoid dangerous and costly military buildups. New Start, that's the name of the program, did both until on-site inspections ceased during the COVID-19 pandemic and never restarted. The treaty was designed for only one 5-year extension, which President Joe Biden and Russian President Putin agreed to in 2021. Russia's actions since, including its full-scale invasion of Ukraine, directly contributed to New Start's sputtering conclusion, but this end of an era of arms control does not impede future negotiations or commitments between the world's two nuclear superpowers, or even preclude applying the lessons from decades of cooperation between the U.S. and Russia to U.S. relations with China. As New Start expires, Aaron D. Doombecker, CFR's Stanton Nuclear Security Senior Fellow, spoke with four arms control negotiators and nuclear policy experts to analyze what a world without limits on U.S. and Russian nuclear weapons could look like, and where the U.S. foreign policy on nuclear weapons issues should look next. It looks bad for you, man. They probably, even though Iran's talking about diluting their nukes, man, that's probably, all that's going to be escalated. IDF kills 4 Hamas terrorists who tried to cross Israeli defense lines from Rafah tunnel. All right. Oh, this is what I want to see. Machine guns to machetes, weapons that massacred thousands in Iran. Machine guns and machetes. Warning, the following story contains graphic details of violence which some readers might find upsetting. Oh, let's read this. A BBC News Persian analysis of hundreds of videos and photographs taken during recent protests in Iran confirms the security forces' use of a wide range of weaponry, including machine guns, sniper rifles, and shotguns. So this is the security forces. Protesters were reportedly killed in many of the more than 200 cities where protests had been recorded. While the exact death toll remains unclear, the level of brutality and the deployment of lethal weaponry, evidence and pictures, witness accounts and reports by human rights groups and the media show thousands have been killed across the country. I'm glad you're reporting this. But what about those drones you got in Ukraine? They got these different drones. They pretty much watch people all the day long go out and get exploded. So there's this one drone that just watches everything. Then there's these other drones that every time someone comes out to they just come in and explode them, and then they just record that. It's being always updated. Okay, but then you look at something like this, when there's millions of people being killed over there, millions. Okay, now don't get me wrong. You know, this is huge. You know, I've heard reports of over 3,000 people killed, but You know, as crazy as you hear that, what about these millions of people that are being killed in a war? This is why you can't really listen to Esau and his bullshit. Okay, whatever these heathen are doing is on a such much lower scale than what this damn devil's doing. Okay, they don't even have the capability to unleash the destruction that this nigga has caused throughout all of Earth. Never mind all the murders he did, especially to the nation of Israel, so-called Native Americans, so everybody, all these different nations. He done shed blood, the most amount of blood. Okay, he said to crack down on protests, and he's proud too. Okay, so that's why he's thinking, who shall bring me down? That's why the Lord's going to destroy them all. The crackdown on protests, which began over the economy but rapidly escalated, employed a level of violence unprecedented in modern Iranian history, and that's coming here too. Esau's probably seeing how they're handling the protests and thinking, all right, we're gonna have to do that, so just switch the nationality. You know, some of these people, you know, I wouldn't be surprised when it's time to really get it popping on you, if he just get the people over there in Israel to come do it to you. They'll kill your ass. They don't give a fuck about you Americans. Especially you got ICE on shit. You got temporary Iranian history, and one of the largest in the world, Payam Akvani, Iranian Canadian former UN prosecutor and whatever. But BBC News Persian analysis shows security forces used a number of different weapons on protesters, including machine guns, sniper rifles, assault rifles, shotguns, handguns, pellet firing, paintball guns. He's using that. He shot Preddy with a handgun. Okay, sniper rifles, they ain't even used none of these shotguns yet. They ain't used none of that. Tear gas, they're using that here. Machetes, they're not using that. Knives, I haven't seen anything about that. Batons, what's this? What's a baton? I'm sure he's using that. I don't think I haven't seen any police. That's what police use, but large wooden clubs, green laser sights, and pointers for blinding and targeting. I haven't seen him use any of that, but hey, all this can be escalated. It's nothing. It's no. They got assault rifles in their hands with silencers on them. Sniper rifles, I think I did see some people with some sniper rifles. They were on the roof, but mostly submachine guns and things like that. So that's what they're using. Damn, that's a big ass bullet. What the hell is this? In one verified video, someone displays spent cartridge casings from a Kalashnikov AK-47. Man, that's a big ass bullet. I don't think this is no AK-40. Maybe those shells down there look like AK-47. This shit right here, that might be like a 50 assault rifle and a 20 millimeter automatic cannon round. Saying security forces had fired them at protesters. Damn. This shit right here. Oh man, you get hit with that. Oh man, that has to come out of a huge, that's like a 20 millimeter. I thought that was a 50. That's a big ass bullet, man. Okay, sniper rifles. What does it say? Witnesses told BBC News Persian sniper rifles were widely used during the January protests, and this is confirmed by verified footage. So they ain't playing with you protesters, man. Assault rifles, spent cartridge casings from Kalashnikov. That's what I guess that's what the K and AK type assault rifles were found on the streets. Damn. If AKs are found on the streets, man, I can imagine what's gonna happen over here, man. You might have never even had a sword, didn't even buy one, but someone get put to death, and you might just get one right there. You might just come up on a hammer. A couple of clips. This is gonna get evil out here. Shotguns. It says BBC Persian investigation confirms the extensive use of shotguns. Verified footage from Adad in western Iran on 7th of January shows police officers with shotguns deployed on streets during protests. You seeing ICE agents with that too? We saw during the crackdown in 2022. It says widespread use of shotguns in January, resulting resulted in the killing of many protesters and left hundreds, if not thousands, more without permanent eye injuries. Dang, they were aiming for the face. Handguns. In 2 videos from Kemenshov on 8th January, plainclothes security forces agents are seen wielding at least 2 types of pistols, which analysts suggest resemble the Beretta Model 50 or the CZ-75 machetes. CCTV footage from Tehran shows plainclothes security agent wielding a machete attacking a female protesters on January 8th. Look at her, man. You women, man. It's gonna get even. Some of these people are here too. It's fucking machete wielding Persians, man. It says numerous protesters have told BBC News Persian they were attacked with knives and machetes. Photographs obtained by BBC News Persian of the bodies also revealed machete as well as bullet wounds. So, yeah, it's gonna get ugly, man. And this is this is your government, man. He got regular shoes on. And oh, man, it's gonna get evil out here, man. Don't forget about the Asians, man. There's a lot of Asians, especially the Cambodians, man. They love using machetes. Different Dominicans and Haitians. These motherfuckers got machetes too. I was watching a machete fight with 2 Dominicans, man. One dude hit him. I think he chopped some of his arm off, and the dude chopped his hand off. And then the dude got his hand. He tried to bring his hand to the hospital so they could reattach it. They said it's better to just throw that shit in the trash. Just throw that shit in the trash, man. Putting all those tendons back together, man, it's a waste. Throw it in the trash. CCTV footage from Tehran clearly shows plainclothes agents attacking protesters seeking refuge in a block of flats with machetes. They're seeking refuge, and he's meeting them with machetes. Women. Your refuge is in your man. Another video from the Capitol on January 8th shows a plainclothes officer hitting a female protester in the head with a machete. Several other security personnel in military uniforms are also visible. So they're for it, man. U.S. tells American ships to keep away from Iranian waters amid tensions. Yeah, so that's the Gulf of Hormuz, man. The U.S. has issued a new advisory on Monday to commercial vessels transiting the Strait of Hormuz and Gulf of Oman, advising American flagged ships to remain as far as possible from Iranian waters without compromising navigational safety. Yeah, that goes in Ezekiel the 28th chapter. Ezekiel 28. I'm gonna just jump down in verse 5. I'll start at 4. With thy wisdom and with thine understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches. Therefore thus saith the Lord God, because thou hast set thine heart as the heart of God, behold, therefore I will bring strangers upon thee. Now these strangers are talking about these heathen nations, the terrible of the nations, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom, and they shall defile thy brightness. They shall bring thee down to the pit, and thou shalt die the deaths of them that are slain in the midst of the seas. That's why he's saying, stay away from them. Wilt thou yet say before him that slaved thee, I am God? But thou shalt be a man and no God in the hand of him that slaved thee. Thou shalt die the deaths of them of the uncircumcised by the hand of strangers, for I have spoken it, saith the Lord Yahweh. So he knows. Just stay far away from them. And I'm sure that's going to mess with oil prices, but I don't know. The stock market said it was going up. So after this report of this oil, they said the stock market was going up for some reason. Thousands of Iraqis volunteered to defend Iran against U.S. attack. So remember You see how your foreign policy comes and bites you back in the ass? Thousands of Iraqis have signed a pledge to help defend Iran in the event of a U.S. attack on the Islamic Republic. They're ready to give their lives to come fight you, man. According to a statement, almost 5,000 people in Iraq's Diyala province gathered to declare their intent to defend both Iraq and its eastern neighbor, as well as Iran-backed armed groups, without any compensation. What? Damn. They said they'll do it for free. Damn. I ain't never heard no shit like these ain't mercenaries, man. Wow. 5,000 people volunteered to give their lives up for free. Damn. Damn. That's profound, man. What's that? The men of Babylon have become like women. Jeremiah 51:30. Let me go there real quick. 'Cause that's what y'all are. These heathen nations are showing you with real men, you're supposed to want to fight for your country. I was watching some dude online. He's like a duck supporter. He supports ducks and things like that. And I was thinking he probably getting paid to say. He don't even sound like, he don't look confident when he speaks. He just look like he's getting a check. Like he's just saying all this rhetoric to get paid. That's why when people get paid, you really can't really, I don't think they really believe like what they say. But when you do this out of your own will, you know, you're not getting paid to do it, there's nobody backing you to pay you, then you can have a little more, this person probably means more what he's talking about. He probably believes what he's saying. But a lot of you people that, you know, like news reporters and shit like that, these people just they're just going to work, man. Fox News, you know, they really know how to kiss ass, man. They're like some of the biggest, I mean, all news stations do this. All of them have an agenda. All of them are saying pretty much the same shit, but, you know, you could tell that, you know, depending on how much they're kissing ass to a specific political politician or whatever, you could tell that they're probably getting paid from doing that. Okay. Jeremiah 51:30. Let me read it first. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have remained in their holds. Their might have failed. They became as women. They have burned her dwelling places. Her bars are broken. That's what America's like. Okay? They become as women. A lot of people, they join the military here. Not all of them. Don't get me wrong. There's some mighty men in the American military. But it seems like there's more, there's less of them than there were before. A lot of people who join today are, because of the economic situation here in America, they're looking for some type of relief, you know, from student loans. That's a huge issue. So they think, okay, I can just join the military and get rid of this, go to school, and things like that. The warriors of Babylon have stopped fighting. This phrase indicates a cessation of military activity by Babylon's forces. Historically, Babylon was a dominant power known for its military prowess. The stopping of their fighting suggests a significant turning point, likely due to divine intervention as prophesied by Jeremiah. This aligns with the broader biblical narrative of God's sovereignty over nations as seen in Isaiah 14:4 verse 5, where Babylon's downfall is foretold. So that's a sign, man. When your men really, that's when you know you love your country, man. All right. Now, this is Iraq. When you're looking on a map, it borders Iran. Okay. So anything going on in this area is very profound. When you got 5,000 men, that's just initially. When the war really kick off, I wouldn't be surprised if everybody joined. Okay, so now it extends beyond the Iranian border and goes into Iraq. Okay. You already know what's going on in Syria, so I wouldn't be surprised, man. He already had some ties to shit that was going on in Iraq over there. He was part of the Taliban, man. You don't want to fuck with the Taliban, man. You know, Iraq. I thought Iraq and Iran are two different Muslim groups. Is Iraq a Sunni Muslim, and what is Iran? Shia. Iraq is not a Sunni majority nation. It is a Shia majority population, or a significant Sunni minority. Conversely, Iran is overwhelmingly Shia Muslim. Both countries have Shiism as a major part of their religious and political identity. So those are probably Shia Muslims. I thought that was Sunni Muslims. Okay. But it tells you in Second Edges, the 15th chapter, the dragons of Arabia shall remember themselves. So they're going to be clicking up all that Sunni, Shia. They're going to put all that shit behind them. And when it comes to fighting Esau. Okay, and it's probably going to extend over here too. They sit in their strongholds. The imagery of warriors sitting in their strongholds suggests a defensive posture, possibly due to fear of defeat. No, they don't want to die, man. They just took the job so they can get out of debt, possibly due to fear of defeat. Strongholds were typically fortified places meant for protection, yet here they symbolize a lack of action. This can be seen as a fulfillment of God's judgment, where the once mighty are rendered powerless, echoing the statement found in Psalm 46 and 9, where God makes wars cease. But Iran also said you attack them, he gonna attack all those bases in Kuwait, all of these places that you got. He gonna attack all of them. He can't reach America, but he said he can reach military bases in that region. Their strength is exhausted. The exhaustion of Babylon's warriors signifies a depletion of their power and morale. Let's look at this word morale. The confidence, enthusiasm, and discipline of a person or group at a particular time. I don't know what I don't know. I would love to hear a U.S. military tell you how excited he is and enthusiastic he is to go to war in Ukraine, or I don't know, Israel, or Iraq or somewhere like that. Those are not places you want to go, man. Or Greenland, Canada. Like, which one? You choose one. This can be understood as a divine weakening, as God often uses physical exhaustion to humble the proud, as seen in Deuteronomy 28, verse 25, where disobedience leads to defeat. It also reflects the futility of relying on human strength against God's will. That's right. That's why, it's better to be in line with the Lord. They have become like women. In the cultural context of ancient times, this phrase implies vulnerability and a lack of combat effectiveness. As women were not typically warriors, it is not a comment on gender, but rather a metaphor for the loss of courage and strength. This imagery is used elsewhere in scripture, such as Nahum 3 verse 13, to depict a state of defenselessness. Because that's what happened in Nineveh. Nahum 3 verse 13. Behold, the people in the midst of thee are women. The gates of thy land shall be set wide upon thine enemies. The fire shall devour thy bars. So you're going to lose your battle. And this is how you know this is talking about Babylon, Nineveh, America. They all simultaneously the same place. Same things are happening. This is the gumbo of all wickedness. He's still using those ancient Assyrian gods, ancient Roman, all of that, man. Babylon's homes have been set ablaze. The burning of homes signifies complete destruction and chaos within the city. Fire is often a symbol of judgment in the Bible, as seen in Amos 1 and 4. This destruction fulfills the prophetic warnings given by Jeremiah and other prophets about Babylon's downfall due to its pride and idolatry. And that fire's coming, man. Okay. It's already kindled, but it's going to end with the thermonuclear destruction. The bars of her gates are broken. The breaking of the gates bars indicates a breach in the city's defenses, symbolizing total defeat and vulnerability. And it's also your city's defenses, especially like that Golden Dome bullshit, that ain't gonna help you, man. The Medes are gonna dash your kids to pieces with their missiles. Gates were crucial for city security, and their destruction signifies the end of Babylon's reign. The imagery is consistent with the prophetic declarations of Babylon's fall, as seen in Isaiah 45, 1 verse 2, 1 and 2, where God promises to open doors and break bars for his anointed. Yeah. Machetes, people signing up. Why falling oil prices won't save consumers from rising power bills. So even though the oil prices are going down, let me read just the headline. Household affordability is diverging sharply, with oil prices easing and helping consumers, while electricity costs rise as incomes lag far behind gains in financial markets. Incomes are lagging. Your electricity bill about to go up. He's building more data centers all over the place. Electricity prices face structural upward pressure from AI-driven power demand. And the crazy part is these data centers also require, you have to tap into your water. So I can't imagine, man. I was watching this show with, it was a cruise. The water was contaminated with pretty much shit. I don't know how they put your sink water ain't supposed to be tapped into to the shit water. But somehow, I don't know what happened exactly, but that's probably what we use anyways. You know, there's probably he probably filters it to an acceptable level. But I wouldn't be surprised if we're drinking shitty water, man. I mean, it'll make you sick, but you know, I'm saying in these last days, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what's going to be in your water. Policy choices under the Duck administration. Actually, hold on. Electricity prices face structural upward pressure from AI-driven power demand, gas-fired generation build-outs, LNG exports, and grid upgrades, all of which tighten natural gas supply and raise utility costs. Policy choices under the Duck administration, including resistance to renewables in favor of gas, coal, and nuclear, risk accelerating an electricity affordability crunch. Yeah, good luck. Let's see, stock price. So crude oil's going up, electricity prices, median family income, 2024. What's the blue mean? I don't know. I don't know what this graph is showing me. The following chart shows the percentage change in value of various measures of income and wealth for 2025 and for the 5 years from 2020 to 2025. So it says the percentage of change in value of various measures. Okay, so basically the average family's income barely kept up with the price of key services, which of course came nowhere near the gains in the market. So the gains in the market, so it got to be the green, and the green is greater than the blue, which is supposed to represent a family's income. So it's highly, you're not going to be able to keep up with inflation, man. You just fucked. But when we move to electricity, here decisions about new power generation and AI demand will bake in the numbers for years to come. Electric generating companies want to build gas-fired power plants. Gas-fired power plants, man. Man, it's about to get pollution. This place is people are gonna get sick, man. You can already see it. Ukraine-Russia war latest child among 4 killed after Russian drone and missile strikes on Kharkiv and Odessa. See, that's those Medes. That's those Medes, man. Isaiah 13, 17. Isaiah 13, 17. Behold, I'll stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. So that's the Medes, man. So if they're doing it to their neighbor, don't think they won't do it to you Americans. A mother and child are among at least 6 people killed in Russian attacks over the past day, Ukrainian authorities said. The 10-year-old boy and his mother, 41, were killed in the town of Bohodukhiv in the eastern Kharkiv region after Moscow launched a wave of attacks targeting the country's east and south. A massive Russian drone attack on the southern port city of Odessa killed 1 and injured 2 others, Regional Governor Ola Kipper said, while a 71-year-old man was killed in an attack on Novgorod-Seversky in the northern Cherniv region. So those missiles don't have any names on them, man. Thousands of protesters over Israeli President Herzog's visit to Australia. Damn, they still doing shit in Australia, man. Protesters over Israeli President Herzog's visit. Oh, I can get a little bit of this without having to look at this bullshit. Israeli President Isaac Herzog, can't read it. Jewish community following a deadly mass shooting last year, I remember. Herzog is visiting Australia this week following an invitation from Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese in the aftermath of the December 14th shooting at a Hanukkah event at Sydney's Bondi Beach that killed 15. The visit has attracted the ire of some people in Australia who accuse Herzog of being complicit in civilian deaths in Gaza. Pro-Palestine groups have organized protests in cities and towns across the country on Monday evening. So, Obadiah 1. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is set among the heathen. Arise and let us rise up against her in battle. As a matter of fact, verse 2. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. So they're just greatly despised, man. I'm saying he being accused of things. He can't even go help his own people. 15 of them got put to death. Then he going over there to talk about it, and he got protesters against him about all the deaths that happened in Palestine. So people ain't trying to hear about that. Even like Guthrie got missing her whole mama, 84-year-old. Nobody cares. Nobody cares because there's so many people missing, kids missing. Everybody's supposed to worry about your mama. Hey, the love of money is waxing cold. Nobody cares about your mama, man. Matter of fact, they feel insulted that they even getting as much publicity as not even the is those Israeli people who got kidnapped got that much view. Crazy, man. It's bullshit, but I'm gonna end it here. What's this? I ran with the loot. I already read that. I'm in here. Lord's will, this is edifying. Shalom.